How do you create magic? You know, it's one of those things where you watch enough basketball, and there's some things you can explain and some things you can't. And the picturesque moment for me is walking off the rush and see one of the guys who grinds here every single day. He's jacked up, and he looks at me and he goes, "What the hell's happening?" You know, and it's like one of those things where I just looked at him and I said, "We're making magic, creating belief." And how do you do it is that you get a locker room full of guys who only believe in everything except their ability, right? Like, they don't believe in, like, I'm just talented. I'm so talented. I'm supposed to be here. They believe in each other. They believe in the work. They believe in the art of having an edge, because 11 of the 13 guys on this roster, their only scholarship offer, or one scholarship offer, was to Green Bay. Whether out of high school, or whether that's like they went to junior college first, or they were Division II player that ended up coming to Green Bay, 11 of the 13 only had one. Noah Reynolds had one offer to Wyoming. All these guys were the guys that were under-recruited, under-evaluated, and have overachieved. And you create magic with people that have a higher level of belief in everything else except their own ability, because they know it takes a special team, a special group of guys to create magic. And what you saw out there was more magic at the Resch. And you saw that from the fans who started believing. And I love when I can do this, and Noah Reynolds or somebody can do this, and the fans can respond to that. They can be prompted because they want it just as bad as we do. I love that, because that's belief. And that's where the magic is. The magic is in the people. The power is in the person. That's the belief that we're creating. And the Iron Mountain Assassin himself, he does a really, really good job of going to Riverside Pizzeria and ordering a number 3. Okay, he does a really good job of that. So I'll let you guys ask him some questions, because that's a stud right there.
Foster, just talk about that late run. I mean, they're up 64 or 60, I think, at that point, and then you guys go on a 12-0 run, and they go 4 minutes without a bucket, and you guys secure the victory. Just how big was that, the crowd atmosphere, and just kind of pulling away late after, a slow start in the second half?
Yeah, I think it was huge. We were just talking in the huddles, trying to tell each other, like, we still got to run in us, and all the coaches were telling us just keep believing in what we're doing, because we were doing the right things. And that's just, we're coming together as a group and gelling really well, and we trust each other. So I think everybody, even the fans, can see that we're building that trust every single game, and it was really fun to have the crowd going crazy, and you see Coach on the sidelines pumping everybody up, and us players are doing the same thing. So it was special today for sure.
So you kind of talk about Noah's day. I mean, his third 30-point performance for you guys in this season. I mean, he made shots when you guys needed it the most.
All right, players, find a coach who believes in you. Find a level that works for you. Find a team that loves you, and great things happen. And for Noah, like, we all trust Noah so much. If you watch it, like, this isn't like Noah Reynolds is out here shooting 20 times and going, 4 for 20. I mean, the model of efficiency in which he plays and how he does it, while still going out there and having 5 assists and 1 turnover and a plus 12 in the box. Like, you start thinking about these things, you start saying, like, that's a pretty dang good player. Because anybody can go be volume guy, score volume points, but you got to look behind the man. You got to look behind the numbers, and see the secret right there is how efficient he is, and that's because, like, we know our roles. We have roles and goals for everybody. Foster knows he shoots threes. I get pissed off at him when he doesn't shoot a 3. He turns it over. I'm like, I'd rather you shoot the damn ball, Foster. All right, like, guys know what they're supposed to do. Like, he's a 5 for 10 guy. When I recruited Foster, what I tell you, Foster, I said, I want you shooting 9, 10 threes a game. Because if he shoots 9, 10 threes a game, and some nights you don't have it, and some nights it's bad matchups, but when you're out there and he's got it going like he does tonight, he shoots 10 of them, he's making 4 or 5. He shoots 9 of them, he's making 4 or 5. That's just who he is. But that's what you do when you have a program and you have a team. Our culture is about belief in each other and the way we do it. So not just why we do it, but how we do it. So how is important, just as equally important as the why we are doing this. And so with Noah, I mean, he'd be the first to tell you that there's a lot of gravity out there when you play with guys like Rich, and you play with guys like Foster, and you play with guys like DJ who can space the floor for you. And now you can have easy lanes to the bucket, or you can have gaps spread out for you. It takes a team to be able to have the efficiency that Noah has, but that does not discount the fact that he's a great teammate, he's a hell of a player, and he's got as much love in this community from his family and friends that are around here as anybody that's been in this program.
how do you build that with a team that a lot of guys that maybe haven't been part of this program for years upon years, that you kind of already have that belief in each other?
I think it starts just, I mean, coming together as a team in the summer. I mean, we face adversity all summer trying to build ourselves up. And, I mean, we've been through tough times before, so we know we have to trust each other and believe in each other if we want to do anything as a team, because it's not just going to be one guy. So I think we're doing really well with that, and it's building, so it's special.
Talking about that, I mean, Sonny, you said this is like a field of dreams approach. If you build it, they will come. I think today there is a lot more fans out there. Have you felt that, and is that kind of the vision now coming to life for you?
You know, the fans that are here are wildly rabid. Like, I love, like, they're into it. I mean, if the ones that are on the court, around the court, in the courtside club, which has the greatest deals in town about trying to get beers. I mean, $3 tall boys, who doesn't want that on a Sunday before the Packers play? You know what I'm saying? Like, what a great pregame party. We should do that all the time. But, like, that's, like, the people that are around it are rabid. Like, you walk through, after we shake the hand, we go through the spirit tunnel with our spirit fingers, you know, and we go shake the hands of everybody that's been here and just high-fiving people. It's that connection to the community that means the most to us, and that's what brings them, that's what makes them connected to our players, to our competitiveness, is because they see that we're fighting and they're fighting with us right down there in the trenches, man. Everybody in the trenches. And these teams that we're playing in this league, I mean, you know how good this league is. It's cannibalizing itself. I mean, Cleveland State's a dang good team, and they've been a dang good program for a while since Dennis Gates revitalized that thing. And then D-Rob took it over. Those guys are good. They're physical. They're great players. And every time we go out in warm-ups, we don't win the warm-up line now. I ask my staff, I go, how's Cleveland State look? And they're like, they look really good, coach. They look really big and really long and really strong. And I go, how do we look? You know, like a bunch of island of misfit toys, you know. It's like my kids, they got like too many toys down in the basement. We just want to throw some away every once in a while. But eventually, like they start asking for the toy that they didn't play with for 4 months. Well, you don't throw any of those things away. You just keep them around because they're special. And next thing you know, like that magic gets happened again.
Sonny, just to be where you guys are right now, top of the conference tie, and we talked to you before the season, and I think Preston said the goal is to win the conference. And from the team that went 3 wins, how impressive has this team been so far, obviously, this season?
You can answer that question. I don't need to answer that. I mean, you're literally debunking everything, right? And this is what I love about like building teams is it's the chemistry experiment that you hope you get right. But if you don't dive into the daily approach of how you're building this team, like if you don't fight for your culture every single day and raise the bar as the bar continually gets raised, instead of being like, well, that's cool, we should just stop right here. Like you keep telling our guys in the locker room, double down, put it again. We're running the heater right now, double down. And look, at some point, you know, you're not going to get the card you want, and it's going to happen, and you're going to lose a game, and that happens. But at the end of the day, that doesn't mean that we just stop doing what we're doing all of a sudden. So what's special about it is, yeah, these guys who believe in each other are doing it when nobody else did. That's why I tell everybody in the community, like when we got here, sharing the sacrifice with us, you can share in the success. But there's still room for everybody. Come on board, man. We'll take all comers right now. We're not being picky right now. We want everybody to ride with us. But and when we create that competitive home court advantage, I'll tell you what, teams at the top of the league right now, you look at their home records. Winning on the road is hard, no matter where you go. And so right now, I think we're 6-1 or 7-1 at home right now. And then you look at Youngstown State's like 10-1 at home. The teams that are top of the league are winning at home. And you have a competitive home court advantage, and that goes back to the Phoenix Rising book and the Dick Bennett Green Bay way, is you better have a competitive home court advantage like the Brown County Arena. The rest better be that for us.
Was today an example of this team learning how to win? Because earlier on you let some slip away late and whatnot, but today you really closed it out, Sonny, when it mattered the most. You
don't learn how to win until you lose. I mean, like, so when we lose some close ones early on or we don't execute the right way, you have to learn from those failures because the failure is necessary for growth. At the end of the day, if you just win every game, what fun is that? If there's no chance at failure, then there's never a chance at success. And that's what a competitive arena is. So for us to be able to win games is that you first had to go through the pains, the struggle, the adversity of losing games. And losing games without players in the lineup, and then having guys in the lineup and having everybody there and still losing games and figuring out like how the hell do we take care of the basketball, not turn the ball over, and then defend at a high level and still rebound. And when you lose those games and you go to the teach tape and you just stick to the process, stick to the daily habits that get mundane and boring over time, because we talk about it all the time. Excellence is boring. the mundanities of excellence. And so you stick to that. And then eventually, if you've got good guys in that locker room, it carries over. And so now when you're in these situations, like we're sitting in these huddles, it's a 2-point game. It's like, halfway through the second half. And I'm like, dude, at this point, last game, we were down 12. So, like, this is not that mountain to climb right now. Let's just stick to the script, stick to the process, go get our turkeys. We got, I think, 2 turkeys to finish it out there in the last 5 minutes. That's 3 stops in a row. And you get enough turkeys, you're going to win some games. And so we just stick to the script, and it's not rocket science. But sometimes we'd like to make it like we're rocket scientists, like we're aeronautical engineers.
So you talk about how tough this league is. You got now 2 road games coming against a team also that's looking to get payback for you guys beating them. Just the mindset going into those games. I know it's early, but.
No, it's what it is. You got to go out there and you got to give yourself a chance. Like our whole thing is just be competitive, right? Give yourself a chance. And you want it to be a 2-possession game under the 4-minute mark. And whether you're up 2 possessions or down 2 possessions, you want it to be within striking distance so you can give yourself a chance to try to win the game down the stretch. And if you do that, anybody in this league, you watch the Robert Morris Fort Wayne game the other night, it's a crazy game, man. That was wild. And, Toole drew up some great ATOs at the end with Corbin to get the ball to send it to OT. And then all of a sudden you get a little bit of luck and the ball gets tipped off and the guy hits a 3 at the buzzer. I mean, just want a chance to be in it at the end. And for our guys, it's continuing to go back. Like, we'll revisit the teach tape of Wright State that we saw. That we haven't watched that film. We didn't watch that film after we played them. We save it for the next game, so we watch it right before we play them again and see what worked and what didn't work, and then revisit that. Because this league, it happens so fast. Like, you can't spend 2 days looking back at what you just did, and all of a sudden, now you got a game day and you didn't prepare for these guys.
With DJ Douglas, his back injury, can you kind of give us a status update? And do you envision this being a serious type of injury where it's
No.
a week or so?
He's been battling some little muscle spasms and twinges. He fell really hard in practice. I mean, we still practice. It's like what's funny is things are going to happen. We're 2 days out. We're going to practice hard 2 days out before a game. And he went up and caught a body and kind of fell right on his side and just cramped up a little bit, spazzed out. And our training staff does a phenomenal job. Cam is like 24/7, like 7-Eleven. He's open all the time, man. And that guy he gets guys back quick. And so DJ's been diligent in his rehab. And then I always say once you get hurt, you got to prehab just as much as a rehab, because like prehab and rehab is harder than practice. You got to spend hours upon hours to stay healthy and get right. So DJ will be fine. Expect him ready to go this weekend.
How close is Amari?
Amari just still like waiting on other X-rays and imaging and stuff like that. Like his thing is a little bit more like he's a hyper athletic dude, right? With some real bounce. When you put a lot of stress on those legs when you're jumping, we're still waiting on some imaging and some second opinions for that one to see where he's at.
How have you gotten these guys to buy in defensively like you guys have? You talk about turkeys all the time. How have you gotten these guys to just believe in defense first?
Pat Monahan, Nick Reynolds. Pat Monahan, Nick Reynolds. Pat Monahan, Nick Reynolds. All right, I'm just going to keep saying that. Those guys are obsessed about this stuff. Their scout prep for the defensive side of the basketball is much like Coach Malvik's, Zach Malvik. Malkovich. You start saying things like that. Like Zach Malvik's offensive preparation on the offensive side of the ball that really helps me out a ton I'm a culture guy. Like I don't sit here and pretend to be some offensive guru or defensive guru. You hire really well. That's a competitive advantage. You hire Pat and you hire Nick and you hire Zach and you hire Fletch, right? You got Adam Owens. You got really good guys in their spots that are stars in their roles. And Zach and Nick's preparation on the defensive side of the ball, which Pat kind of spearheads all that, and he's been great for our staff because it's the same stuff all the time, right? It's the same stuff. Like why you can get better defensively is because you do the same thing over and over again. If we tricked the game out and played 4 different defenses and tried to press and do all these different things, like we wouldn't be good at crap. So we're just going to be great at what we're good at instead of being good at what we're bad at. And so that's Pat and Nick, and then Zach offensively he just sees the little details. He's always whispering in my ear. He's like the Sunny whisperer. It's like weird. He never gets like all riled up at all, right? So you just watch Zach always whispering in my ear. It's kind of like the devil and angel. I got Pat and Zach, and then I got Nick always running around in my head.
That embrace with Josh Moon at the end of the game. I know, he takes a chance on you. You take a chance on the program. You want to succeed here. What is that like just to see the results and between you two and the relationship that you guys have formed?
When you know somebody and they take a chance on you in a situation that looks pretty bleak, what I told Josh, and everybody in the search committee for that matter when I got hired, is there's nobody on planet Earth that will want to win more for Josh Moon than me. Having been in the trenches with him at Northern State, having went to a national championship, having been side by side with him, and knowing that when you come into this, like, you can't miss on this. You can't miss this hire. And a lot of times people miss because the guy they hire just feels like he deserves it and he's entitled to it and he gets complacent, and that ain't me. Like, by the grace of God, we're here, and you know, stars align and good things happen with people who are synergistic. When someone believes in you, that's the most powerful thing you can give them. I believe in foster wonder. Like, when you believe in somebody, you just work that much harder just to make sure that you know I'm not failing because you believed in me first. And if people ever took that approach, because someone gave them a rare opportunity, like, there's, no matter how I'm not the smartest guy in the world. So no matter what I lack, the one thing that you'll never be able to do with me is outwork me. I know that. I'm not, like I told you, I'm not going to tell you I'm the smartest guy or this or that, but at the end of the day, when someone believes in you, all you do is you just die in the trenches for that person to make sure that you have success for those people around you that believed in you. That's it. That's it. That's all that matters to me.
You guys planning to watch the Packer game after? I thought you were a UP guy. Should you want to watch the game, or I don't know if you're a Packer fan or not?
I'm going to watch it, but I am not a Packer fan.
Oh,
I got to
man.
put that out there.
Oh,
Steeler fan. Steeler fan.
go Pack, go. Go Pack, go. Go Wicks. Go Wicks. Number 13, baby. That's my guy right there.